Hey Canucks fans, today I'm going to share with you 5 reasons why the Canucks can go deep in this postseason, and I'm going to share with you all the details on my annual playoff hockey pool. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, July the 27th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. I'm in a really good mood. I'm in a good mood because I'm off of work this week, got some golfing, some bowling, some ping pong, some music, some house cleaning, got a bunch of things lined up this week, so I'm looking forward to partaking in all of them. Of course, I had a really good live stream last night. The numbers on those live streams on this YouTube channel continue to grow and go up. I put both of them together, they continue to grow up, which is fine too. So I thank you for your loyalty and for always making the time to watch these videos and to comment. And mostly, well, I'm excited because of the Vancouver Canucks. They're finally going to play this week. They have their exhibition game against Winnipeg on Wednesday, and then on Sunday, August the 2nd, Game 1 against the Minnesota Wild. Also, my son Sean's 19th birthday, so we're hoping and we're looking forward to a really awesome day of celebration this weekend. Today, I want to talk about 5 reasons why I think the Canucks can and will go deep in this postseason. A couple qualifiers here. You notice that I use the term postseason. Technically, this qualifying round isn't the playoffs yet. The 8 winners, I should say, of all the qualifying series, they will join the 8 teams that are playing each other in the round robin to make up the 16-team playoff field. So technically, the qualifiers are not playoffs, but they are postseason because by definition, postseason is anything after the regular season. So not only the qualifying round, but the playoffs are postseason. So that's why I try not to use the terms interchangeably. Postseason includes qualifying and playoffs, whereas playoffs only includes the round of 16. So I hope that makes sense, just a very small nuance there. And the other, I guess, qualification here is when I talk about the health of the Canucks, I get it. Every single team is healthy. Every single team thinks they have a shot, as they should. Especially after being off for 4 months. But Vancouver traditionally is a team that gets beat up near the end of the season, whether it's the way they play, whether it's travel, wear and tear, whatever it is. So although I'm going to refer to health in 2 or 3 of my answers, I really think it is a true significant reason, and one that's not unique to the Canucks, but I think it's very important to the Canucks. So I hope that makes sense. So here we go. Here's 5 reasons why the Canucks can and will go deep this postseason. Qualifying round and playoffs. Number 1, Jacob Markstrom. He's healthy. No surprise there. We saw how the Canucks did with Thatcher Demko. They just played 500 hockey. But Markstrom, when he's on top of his game, when he's sharp, when he's focused, when he's healthy, he's a top 10 goalie in the league. Some would argue a top 5 goalie in the league. I'm pretty sure he got some Vezina votes. Not obviously top 3 Vezina votes, otherwise he'd be a finalist. But I know he got some Vezina votes, so that's pretty exciting. So Jacob Markstrom, I can't wait to see what he can do, and I think that's the biggest advantage, the biggest mismatch in this series against the Minnesota Wild is the goaltending. Would you rather have Markstrom with Demko as backup, or would you have a combination of Dudnik and Stalock? I know who I'd pick. I'm sure you'd pick them as well, and that's why the Canucks are favored in this series, even though Vancouver and Minnesota only finish 1 point apart from each other in the standings. So Jacob Markstrom, number 1, when he's healthy, he can be a difference maker, and I think he will be a difference maker, especially in a short series. And I'd love to see how he matches up. Not looking past the Wild, but I love to see how he matches up against other great goalies in our conference. Guys like Ben Bishop, guys like Jordan Bennington, and so on and so forth. So we shall see what happens. Number 2, Quinn Hughes. Yes, Minnesota's top 4 and top 6 overall, likely stronger than the Vancouver Canucks, top 4 and top 6, but they don't have a player like Quinn Hughes. And Quinn Hughes, I think, actually can almost equate the comparison or balance out the scales, if that makes sense, because of how dynamic he is. Now, granted, most guys weren't trying to run him or hit him at training camp, well, except for Michael Furlan, but Hughes showed when he's on his game, we know his edge work, his pivoting, his speed, his puck control, his hockey sense, all those things. I cannot wait to see how he performs in the playoffs, postseason, I should say, qualifying round and playoffs, and I think he can be a difference maker, much like a lot of these guys. I think Jacob Markstrom is a difference maker. The next guy I'm going to talk about can be a difference maker as well. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what Quinn Hughes can do in his first ever playoff, and I guess by extension, no, I'll say this one. So Quinn Hughes could be a massive difference maker for the Vancouver Canucks, and he's quarterbacking that very, very top-ranked power play in the league. Number 3, Brock Boeser. I've been saying this on a couple podcasts that I've been guesting on. It's almost funny or ironic or strange that we refer to Brock Boeser as an afterthought or an X factor or a sleeper pick. But I think when you think of the Canucks right now, especially this season, you think of Markstrom, you think of Pettersson, you think of Miller, and you think of Hughes. You think of those 4 players. And rarely did you mention Brock Boeser in that conversation. That's because he missed the last 2 months of the season. Healthy Brock Boeser is massive. We saw how good he looked at training camp, his speed, dominant on the ice, his shot looks back, whether he's going to stick with his new flex and new stick, whatever, it doesn't matter to me as long as he's shooting well and playing well and scoring goals. So Brock Boeser, remember, we didn't see him for the last 2 months of the season except for that final game against the Islanders. He can be a massive difference maker, and I can't wait. He's going to be motivated, right, playing against Minnesota where he grew up. And a lot of his buddies, I'm sure he'll love the opportunity to chirp them after the Canucks defeat the Wild. So Brock Boeser, a healthy Boeser, a motivated Boeser, free of all these goofy trade rumors. I think he's going to be awesome. Number 4 is the overall youth of the Canucks. Now, I didn't do a comparison to see if they're younger across the board than Minnesota Wild. I know the Wild have some really young, good players as well, like Fiala and guys like that. But I can't wait to see what Horvat can do in the playoffs. He's only had 1 taste of the playoffs. Boeser, as I talked about. Hughes, as I talked about. Adam Gaudette. And, of course, Elias Pettersson. Last year's Rookie of the Year. He had another great season this year. And I expect him to do really, really well in these playoffs. He's hungry. He's wired for playoffs. His mentality, his dedication, and just how good and how competitive he is, how badly he wants to win. I think he can be a massive difference maker as well. So, when I talk about the youth overall, I'm talking about Horvat, Boeser, Hughes, Pettersson, which leads me to my number 5, and that is actually kind of swings the other way too. The veterans on this team, and therefore with the youth, I really like the makeup of this team overall. And I'm not just talking about skill at all the positions. We've talked about that, right? Our top 6, one of the best in the league. Quinn Hughes on the back end and Jacob Markstrom. I've talked about those guys. But let's talk about not so much skill, but the overall makeup of the team. You have these young guns in Boeser, Horvat, Pettersson, and Hughes and Gaudette. And then you have veteran players that have been with the Canucks for a while. Guys like Edler and Tanev and Markstrom. But what I'm really excited about mostly are the guys that weren't on our roster 2 seasons ago. And Josh Leivo's injured, but you can count him. Ferland, Toffoli, and Miller, and Pearson. So 5 of our top 9, Leivo's not playing. So let's say 4 of our top 9 in Miller, Toffoli, Pearson, and Ferland were not on this team 2 seasons ago, at the start of the season 2 seasons ago. Those are some awesome pickups. Pearson, good trade for Goodbranson. Toffoli gave up a lot in Tyler Madden and picks, but that was a good trade, and he's been great. Miller, we know how well that trade worked out, and Ferland was a free agent signing. So you have those guys up front that they have playoff experience, and don't forget, you still have Jay Beagle, who's a Stanley Cup champion. You have JT Miller, who's made it to the finals. You have Pearson and Toffoli, who are Stanley Cup champions. You have Tyler Myers on the back end, another free agent signing. Yeah, you can argue about the money we're paying him, but he's going to be a good leader. He's a playoff performer as well. So I really like this mix on this team of veterans, of young guys, of guys who have won cups. We have cup champions in Beagle, Toffoli, and Pearson. And one guy that I really haven't mentioned, but I think, let's make this a top 6 reason, Michael Ferland. I've talked about him a lot in the past week, and rightfully so. It looks like he might be the starter on that 3rd line on the right wing, along with Gaudette and Roussel. And if he can play anything like he played 5 years ago when he was playing with Calgary against the Canucks, then he can be a massive difference maker as well. So that's why I'm so optimistic. That's why I'm the founder. I'm the founder of the GLCPC. But I really think the Vancouver Canucks can defeat Minnesota, and there is potential for this team to go far, where all teams are basically starting from scratch. They're all healthy, and we've talked about it. Markstrom, Hughes, Pettersson, Boeser, Ferland, young guys, old guys, Stanley Cup pedigree among a few players. I'm very excited. So I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment below. The question of the day is, how optimistic are you? How deep do you think the Canucks can go in this postseason? That's the question of the day. And then as a second question is, who do you think is going to be the biggest X factor? If you can only pick one player, Is it Markstrom? Is it Hughes? Is it Pedersen? Is it Boeser? Is it Ferland? Let me know down below. I'd love to know what you think. Okay, lastly, I want to end off talking about my annual playoff or postseason, whatever you want to call it. I think I actually called it my postseason pool this year because it includes a qualifying round. It is done confidence pool style. So basically, there's 24 teams still alive. You are allowed to assign 20 of those teams points. 20, 19, 18, 17, all the way down to 1. You basically give 20 points to the team that you think are going to win the Stanley Cup, 19 to who you think they're going to beat, and then 18 all the way down. That's only 20 teams. That means 4 teams will get 0. So for instance, Toronto maybe, or maybe Minnesota, or whoever you want. So again, for the 24 teams, you assign them 20, 19, 18, all the way down to 1. Then 4 teams have 0. You pick a Conn Smythe winner for a 25-point bonus. And basically, every time that team wins, you get that many, wins a series, not a game, but wins a series, you get that many points. So for instance, for the Vancouver Canucks, if they are, if they win the qualifying round and then they win the playoffs, they make the playoffs, obviously by winning the qualifying round, and they win 4 rounds on playoffs, and you assign them 20 points, that's 100 points right off the bat. 20 for the qualifying series, and then 20, 20, 20, 20, all the way through. So that's what you want to do. And all you predict the entire NHL playoffs right now, and you don't get to revise your picks. And again, whenever your team wins, that team wins, you get that many points. And so you can have, you want to obviously assign 20 points to your Stanley Cup final champion, and then 19 points to your Stanley Cup finalist. So if you're interested in joining me, it's only $15 per entry. You can enter as many teams as you want, or as many entries as you want. Last year, the prize pool was over $400, and I award to first, second, and third place. So if this interests you, all you got to do is send me an email. I'll put my email address in the description, but it's clayimo@shaw.ca. clayimo@shaw.ca. CLAYIMOO, my first and last name, @shaw.ca. Just send me a quick note, and I will respond within 24 hours with the entire spreadsheet and all the instructions, probably explained a little better than I just did right now. And then you need to get your picks and your money into me by Saturday at 9 a.m. So if you have any questions, just shoot me an email, and I'll send you a little spreadsheet, and it's and all the rules, and it'll make a lot of sense. But basically, I want to invite you to join my annual NHL confidence pool for the postseason. So there we go, Canucks fans. A bit of 6 reasons. It turned out to be 6 reasons why I think the Canucks will go deep, and then some details on my playoff pool that I hope that you consider joining. Just send me an email, clayimo@shaw.ca. All right, I gave you my question of the day. Who's going to be the biggest X factor, and how deep do you think the Canucks can go in this postseason? I would love to know what you think. And don't forget, Wednesday night, I'll be live streaming after the Vancouver Canucks Winnipeg Jets exhibition game. Can't wait to see how they look on the ice. All right, subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. We're over 4,600 subscribers now. My goal is to get to 5,000 by the end of this year, which would be exciting for me. But yes, subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.